Do you sometimes sit and think, when is my big moment going to come? When will I catch my break and everything will align for me? I had the chance to speak with Ingo Schulmeyer. Ingo is an adventurer, traveler, family man, and life coach. I learned from Ingo that it is the small resets that we need and not just the big life-changing event. By small and simple resets, we can gain all that we want and look forward to the future. Get ready to be inspired from Ingo Schulmeyer. Welcome to Journey with Jake. This is a podcast about adventure and how through our adventures we can overcome the challenges of life that come our way. While I expect you will learn some things about different adventures, this show will entertain you. Each episode will feature a different guest or guests as they share experiences and stories from the different adventures they have been on. Not only will you be entertained, but you will also hear the failures and trials each guest faces and what they have done or are doing to overcome the hardships that come their way. My goal is to take each of us on a journey through the experiences of my guests with the hope that you'll be entertained and inspired to overcome your day-to-day challenges. After all, it's not all about the destination as it is about the journey. The show. My name is Jake Bushman, and I am the host of Journey with Jake. I'm so excited to be part of your week. This is what I love. Hosting Journey with Jake each and every week has truly been a dream come true, and I could not do it without all of you who support the show. Thank you for all you do. I do want to mention that Journey with Jake is part of the Podmatch Podcast Network, and if you are on the hunt for some great podcasts, be sure and check out podmatch.com/network. While we're on the subject, just a few more housekeeping items. You can find the show on YouTube. Check out Journey with Jake podcast on YouTube and be sure to subscribe to the show and hit that like button. Also, I am active on Instagram at Journey with Jake podcast. This is a great place to see some clips from the show, see what's coming up, and it is a way to get to know my personality just a little bit better. So check me out on Instagram at Journey with Jake podcast. I was happy to have the chance to speak with Ingo Schulmeyer. Ingo and his family packed everything up and with their dogs decided to travel through Mexico and have since found a place to settle down. We had a fun conversation that included some talk on endurance sports and quite a bit on self-development. If you like this show, you will also enjoy episode 50 with my guest, Mario Minert. Get ready to get better one small reset at a time with Ingo Schulmeyer. Looking at who you are, what you do, I'm amazed at people like you who just seem to be able to just have the courage, take a risk, say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do. Let's do this thing. And you go out and you just travel and you just do things. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Before we jump into all of that, tell me a little bit about Ingo, where you're from, who you are, just a little background so we know who you are a little bit.
Sure. So my name is Ingo. I'm from Germany. I'm 46 years old. I lived most of my life in Germany, but I was always traveling a lot. And since I was traveling already as a kid with my parents. We did a lot of outdoor stuff like skiing, hiking in the Alps and stuff like that. And then when I was out of the house was 18, 20-ish, so I started going on my own journeys, going to traveling the world. Right now we're living in Mexico. I have a family. I'm married. I have two kids, or two almost grown-up kids right now. I had a teenager, so one is 14, one is 11. And we moved here 3 years ago. We decided to leave the Western world a little bit because we were not so happy anymore. And we said we try something else. And so far it worked out. So now we're here and building our new life here. And let's see where it takes us.
Wow. Okay. So you live in Mexico. Two kids, boys, girls?
We have two boys.
Two boys. Very nice. 14 and 11. I think you said you're 46. So you and I are about the same age. I got you just by a little bit, but not by much. I can tell just by looking at you, you're a pretty fit guy, and it sounds like you've gone on a lot of adventures. You've done a lot of things. I know you've done some Ironmans. I want to talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so how do you go about, you're in a career, I think you're in a career for 15 years, semiconductors, something along those lines. You're doing that, doing what you're supposed to be doing, plugging away. How do you all of a sudden decide, you know what, hey, this isn't for me. I'm going to go travel. Take the family, we're going to go travel. How does that happen? How does that work?
I think it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, I was always successful in chasing my goals and also achieving my goals, both in my athletic career, but also in my business career. But yeah, I had all the jobs, and it was actually, I would say, it was a good job, and I made a good money and everything, and I had responsibility. But it didn't really make me happy. It didn't really fulfill me. And then it was actually during the pandemic. I mean, before the pandemic, I was also traveling a lot for work because I was in the semiconductor industry. I was traveling a lot to like Taiwan, Korea, and also to the United States. But then during the pandemic, it ended up just being like sitting in front of the computer and having this boring Zoom meetings all day long. And that was kind of the triggering point. I think it piled up over the years before already that I was not so happy anymore and I wanted to do something differently. But I think the pain was not big enough. And then during the pandemic, we made this decision because also for my wife, she was not happy anymore. And also for the kids, I mean, they didn't go to school anymore because they started to do this Zoom schooling, which didn't really work. And then we said, so, hey, I mean, anyway, just sitting at home and like getting on our nerves. So let's try to do something different and let's try where we can live a little bit more freely and where we can find maybe some, maybe.
Wow. Okay, so that was one of my questions was how the family reacted to that, but it sounds like everyone was on board. I mean, it sounds like your kids weren't going to school; they're just doing Zoom school, which isn't very fun. And then your wife seemed like she was on board too.
Yeah, sorry, my wife was on board. She was actually even more pushing a little bit than me. With the kids, I mean, they didn't really understand that they were at this time. They were like I think 9 and 11 or 12, right? But we thought, okay, this is actually we thought, okay, that's our last chance to do that, right? Because once they're like teenagers, it's very difficult to take them out of their social environment. So we thought, okay, now it's the chance. And I mean, of course, in the beginning they were a little bit sad that they have to leave their friends and to move again. But yeah, since we're here, I think we didn't regret it for one day because I mean, for them it was also an adventure, right? We were for 9 months we were traveling around here in Mexico. We had a SUV. We came with 2 dogs also, so we were like traveling with the SUV and all the luggage on the roof and the kids and the dogs in the car and sleeping in the Airbnbs every night. So it was quite funny. So I think they had a good time and I think they learned also a lot during that time. Yeah, and I think they don't regret. They don't want to go back.
Okay, so why Mexico? Why did you decide to go to Mexico?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, we had a few options. We thought about a few things. In the beginning, we thought something closer. So we thought about Georgia. So not the US state Georgia, but Georgia in Eastern Europe. And then we decided for whatever reason that we didn't want to be so close. And I mean, now with all the conflicts in this region, now with Ukraine and Russia, I think it was a better decision to go somewhere else. And Mexico was just, I mean, we thought then about a few South American countries or Latin American countries. Mexico just had the biggest variety of options. I mean, first of all, you get everything here. And we didn't want to we didn't want to narrow it down just to like some Caribbean beaches because we're not the types of people, the beach people, right? We like also the mountains. And so we don't like it too hot. And we thought, I mean, Mexico is a big country. You find everything there. You can have like mountains, you can have beautiful beaches, different landscapes, you have all sizes of cities, and so we thought for that it was a good indicator for us. We also had some friends here that helped us and we could meet, and also the immigration process for us was quite easy, like to get a residency. And that was actually pretty straightforward.
Okay, so when you made the decision, your family, you made the decision, hey, we're going to do Mexico. And I've heard good things about Mexico. I've had a few people on the show before who've traveled through Mexico and said they love it. So when you made the decision, okay, we're going to go to Mexico, was the idea to just travel through there? Or was the idea to, hey, let's set up shop and let's live there? Or did that come later?
Yeah, I mean, the idea was to find a new life here, right? And we wanted to find a place where we can live. Ideally with a community, with a few like-minded people and build something up here. That was the idea. But I mean, this is a very big decision, right? And it's like, I mean, I think to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more tangible, we said, okay, I mean, the worst thing, I mean, we just shifted a little bit our perspective. We thought about it in a way, what is the worst thing that can happen? And we said, okay, in the worst case scenario, after 1 year, if we don't like it, we run out of money or whatever, we just go back and we look for jobs and we can go back. So the worst case scenario would be like a 1 year vacation. But the plan was to really build a new life here. And
wow.
at least up to now, we're still here.
Yeah. And so it's been what, 3 years?
It's about 3 years now, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 3 years, and you're still there. What part of Mexico are you in? Where are you living now?
Beautiful views on the Pico de Orizaba. I think it's the third highest mountain in Northern America. It's 5,500 meters. So it's always covered in snow. It's a volcano. So beautiful view.
Oh, very
here.
cool.
And yeah, we really like it here. It's very nice. So it's like spring all year long. It's not too hot. Never gets too hot. It never gets cold.
Yeah, that sounds like you got a good thing going there. That's awesome. All right, so going back to this whole decision, like, hey, we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna put you kind of, because you're a coach, so I'm gonna kind of turn you into a coach. You're gonna coach me for a minute, because that's, for me, that's hard. Like, that's a risk, and someone like me, I feel like I'm risk averse. Like, I don't want to take risks a lot. What do you say to someone who's not so happy where they're at, but needs to take this risk? How do you do that? You did it yourself, so how do you do it?
Yeah, I think to make a change, right?
Yeah.
So we're living in this life, and I think to make a change, your pain threshold, you need to hit your pain threshold, right? The pain needs to be big enough in order for you to make a change. So I think that's why most people don't make this change. They rather live in their life, and they don't want to take any risk because they don't want to give up anything. But I think this is a very dangerous attitude, right? Because first of all, I think it's an illusion that you think the risk of making a change is higher than the risk in staying where you are. Because, I mean, your life right now is also risky, right? You can lose your job tomorrow. You can ruin your health tomorrow. You can.
Sure.
I mean, there are a lot of risks also in staying where you are. And the question is, I mean, what do you want to have achieved at the end of your life, right? And done? Is it really, I want to have a job that I go every day for 40 or 50 years and working in a job that I don't like and whatever, watching Netflix every evening and eating my pizza, paying off my mortgage? Or do you want to have something you can be really proud of? And that's the question you should ask yourself. And what are you really burning for? And that's what we need to find out for ourselves.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people, and myself included in a lot of ways, I'm in a job that it's been a good career. Am I super happy with it? Maybe not, but you just kind of, you get comfortable, but you're right. There's a risk. They could kick me to the curb tomorrow. I could have a job tomorrow. It could happen. I could, wake up tomorrow and have health issues, so there's always even that risk of even staying there. So why stay there? Why not move forward? I love this. This is why I love talking to people, because I'm getting great insights and things I can do. So for you too, someone, who does Ironmans, like, how did that come about? You said you've always been kind of an athlete. How long have you been doing the Ironmans?
When I was a kid, I did a lot of skiing. So we grew up near the Alps in Germany, right? So I did some skiing, and summer we played football. And in the 80s, we were, right? We were always outside and on the bike.
Absolutely.
And then somehow I got really kind of addicted to endurance sports. So when I was a teenager, or when I was 18, I started running a lot. From running, I like to run a lot in the mountains. So, but then because I'm pretty tall, 1.90 meters. Sorry, I don't have.
What's your height in meters?
1.90 meters. I think it's like
six something, right?
6'8" or something. No.
Okay.
So
yeah, I only see from here up, but you look tall just sitting there. So
yeah, exactly. But then I got knee problems because from running down in the mountains, in the trails, so I got some knee problems. And then I started cycling, and then I cycled for a few years. And then I think in 2006 or 2007, I thought, okay, now I just need to do swimming, and I can do an Ironman. And then I think it was in October 2007. In this year, I had a few bicycle marathons in the Alps, where you have 200-300 kilometers through the Alps with a lot of mountains. And then I thought, okay. And then in October in this year, I just decided for the next year I will sign up for an Ironman. But I couldn't really swim. I mean, I could swim, but not really competitive. So in this winter, I went to the pool 3-4 times a week, and I taught myself swimming. And then a year later, I did my first Ironman or long distance triathlon.
Wow. And where was it?
That was in Elba. That was actually pretty cool, but it was also pretty hard because Elba is an island in Italy, in the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay.
So it's the island, I think, where Napoleon went for.
Okay. It's got some history to it then.
Yeah, there's some history. It's a small island, but it was pretty cool. But it was pretty difficult because, you're swimming in the sea. And I was not used to that because
you're doing in the pool. You're practicing
swimming in the pool. And then suddenly I had to swim in the sea. And also the bicycle course is quite hilly. So there's a lot of mountains. I had a lot of problems on this day. But I did my first Ironman anyway.
But you did it.
Yes.
What were some of the problems you had, if you don't mind?
Yeah, the problem was first in the swimming that, when you're just swimming in the pool and then suddenly you swim in the sea and the tides were pretty high at this time and you need to navigate, right? Because you're just swimming and there's like a buoy, 500 meters out there. But if you swim and then you need to look and then there's a wave coming and you don't see anything and then you go down again and you look again and the next wave is coming and then you're swimming like that. And you swallow a lot of water. And I think the cycling was okay. It was pretty hot on that day. And then because it's so many hours, I got also stomach problems. So during the marathon, I had a lot of stomach problems from the nutrition, from the gels I took. So I had several times I had to go to the toilet and so it was not very pleasant, but somehow I made it.
Wow. But somehow you made it. Okay, after all that, you're in these waves, you're swallowing water, you got stomach issues, you're running to the toilet. Why do you keep doing it?
Well, because that was my goal, and I was training for that 1 year long, right? And I didn't want. I'm not giving up. Why should I give up? The pain is something temporary, right? But I just wanted to finish it.
Well, how did you feel when you finished it?
If I have a goal in my head, I'm very.
You're there.
Focused on this goal, and then. I knew I could do it, and I did.
Love that. I just love hearing it because it's interesting hearing from people who. Because when you're saying it, like, oh, I had stomach issues and I was swallowing water and I couldn't see where I was going. I'm zigging and zagging. And it's crazy that, people still do it. And that's why I love talking to endurance athletes. I've had quite a few endurance athletes on the show and they're amazing to me because they go through all this pain and some, the normal person standing over here is like, what's the point of putting yourself through this pain? But they do, they have goals, they set goals and it's motivated me. I'm nowhere near an Ironman. I've half marathons, the most I've got. But small steps for me.
Still good now.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of our own journeys and your family's journey to now live in Mexico, particular stories along the way, any of your travels, of any adventures or any things that you did together as a family that comes to mind?
As a family?
Yeah, as a family or just you.
Yeah, I think this travel through Mexico was really something that put us together, and I think that's really great, and I think it melted us together as a family. It's very intense because you're like 24/7, you're together, right? And sometimes you need your space, and it's not always possible. But I think that really helped us grow also as a family, and I'm so glad we did it because I think my connection with my kids is now much better because when we're working and when we're having our daily lives, the kids go to school, you're not really there, right? You're working all day and eventually you see your kids in the evening and dinner you have some, but you still have to organize stuff, right? You never can really do something together. And in this way, during the travel, you get to know each other much better and you need to take much more care for each other. And I'm very happy that I can see my kids now also since we're living here and since I'm working from home, how I can see them growing up. And now also, for example, now they're going to school, but in the morning I go with them to school with the bicycle. So we have a lot of good time together. And I think that's amazing. When I remember when I was 14, I didn't want to be with my parents anymore, right? I just went out with my friends and I was gone. But I'm so happy that I have this connection with my kids.
And your kids are right there, 16 years old, 11-year-old. They're kind of right in that state of it for sure. Are they enjoying it living in Mexico? Do you think they're fitting in pretty good? How's the Spanish? Everyone's speaking Spanish.
Yeah, that was cool because after this, we were traveling for 9 months, and then I think now exactly 2 years ago in September, beginning of September 22. We arrived to this place here where we're still now. And we had some friends here that we knew from before, just by some conversations over the internet. Yeah, we met some community here. And they also had a daughter in about the same age. And there was a nice little school. It's like an outdoor school. It's in the forest, and they're teaching outside more or less. So it's pretty cool. So, and the kids said, okay, they wanted to try this for 2 or 3 days. And we said, why not? So go to the school for try it out and see how you like it. And I think after the first day in the evening, when the school finished, they came back and they said, okay, we will stay here. And we said, I mean, we were also a little bit tired of the traveling and packing our suitcases every day. And so we said, okay, so we stay here. So, and that's how we made the decision. And in this day, they started to go to school. It's a Spanish-speaking school. They learned a little bit Spanish before on the way. But since these 2 years, they're going to Spanish-speaking school now. And I mean, they speak much better Spanish than me and my wife.
I'm guessing, do you still speak German at the house?
Yeah, we usually speak German in the house.
I mean, I think it's cool because now your kids they're going to have all kinds of languages that they know. And I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, that's just great skills to have all around.
Actually, I mean, they grew up with 2 languages, right? Because my wife, she's Israeli. So
okay.
Hebrew, German, English, and Spanish.
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty wild. Okay. So with you leaving your job, you were in semiconductors. That's kind of what you did. What are you doing now? Because I know I alluded to the fact that you're a coach. I know you're kind of like a life coach.
Right.
What else are you doing? What do you got going on?
No, I mean, my main job is my coaching now, and I've worked on that I was always interested in personal development and self-improvement. And then also I got also a lot of coachings during my career, of course. But then, so over the last 5 to 8 years, I started really to dig more inside myself and trying to understand myself better. Because as I said, I was always good in achieving my goals, but it didn't really make me entirely happy, right? And that's why I learned a lot about also psychological methods and NLP and stuff like that. And that's why I went into this. That's why I actually did this educations as a transformational coach. In the beginning, I didn't do them because I wanted to be a coach. In the beginning, I did them for myself because I wanted to understand myself better and to improve myself. But then it helped me so much and it helped me to understand myself so good, all this method and working with a coach and understanding about myself, where I'm coming from and what's really driving me. That I thought, okay, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to help other people also with, because actually what we discussed before, right? Many people, they live in the thing where they think they're like having a good life, but it's not really what they could achieve, or it's not really matching their potential, right? And I think that's one of the things that's going on in us today. I think one of the problems is that we don't really understand what are our values and what are our beliefs and what is our definition of success, because we get so much input, right? And we have so much influence and noise and distraction coming from social media and from our friends and from other people, that we think, okay, we know what success means for us, but in the end, it's just like some definition that we picked up somewhere, or at least it's biased by other factors. And I think that the first point to start with is really understand what really is your definition of success. And that's what I'm working on with people now.
Okay, so you sit down with people and you try to figure that out, help them figure that out for themselves. So, which does seem tricky because, like you said, I think we have a lot of people telling us, oh, this is what success means. It means this, or it means that, or it means having 3 cars, or whatever. It's a lot of, social media, external things telling you, but it could mean something different. So for you, what is success for you?
What is success for me? For me, success is, that's a good question. For me, success is like, I want to live the life on my own terms, right? I want to be free. Freedom is one of my goals. And I don't have any monetary goals anymore. I think we're financially independent, but it's not so important for me anymore. Because I think, I want to do what I want. I want to have the things I want. And I want to have happy kids. I want to give my kids the education I want, and I want to help also other people. So my purpose, my driving factor is helping other people, because for me sometimes it makes me really sad, because to see so many people that are not really going towards their potential, and I think that's one of my driving factors. That's what keeps me going on.
When you help somebody and you see that turn, you see things starting to click for them, and you see them, finally feeling like, hey, I'm making a move here and things are happening. What does that do for you?
Yeah, it makes me also happy, because it's great to see when that happens in other people. This transformations, it's usually, I think it's, for most people, it's not the one big thing. Like,
sure,
it's not the one event where you say, okay, now it changed the complete life. That's actually also why I called my brand name. I don't know if you saw it in my podcast or my YouTube channel name. It's The Small Reset, right? Because
the small reset.
The small reset, because there's this idea of the great reset, right? And I said, okay, it's not really how I would do it. So I think, we all need to go through our own small resets and trying to work to improve ourselves in small steps. And if we collect enough of the small steps, we ultimately reach to a better life, and we will also make the world better, because we will be a better person.
I like that. That's a good way to look at it. The small reset. I saw something on your bio that said something about you're certified in neurotransformational something.
Coaching.
What does that mean exactly? What is that?
Brain, but also a lot on feelings. So basically on our inner self. So it's quite a hard work. And transformational coaching in general, I mean, today there are two types of coaches, right? There are informational coaches and there are transformational coaches. An informational coach can help you if you want, for example, you're looking for a process, or you're looking for something very specific, and you need somebody to tell you exactly how to do that, right? A transformational coach is something differently. And I'm not saying it's one or the other is better or worse, right? It's just two different things. It depends what you're looking for. But a transformational coach is basically I'm not showing you any way, or I'm not giving you any answers, right? I'm just helping you to find your own solution and to help yourself transform yourself. For example, transform your beliefs, to transform your value system, and to make yourself a different person, right? For example, let's say you're procrastinating and you don't know why. So usually we're working, it's coming from where, right? It's coming from a belief system, or because you have some fears or something that's holding you back. And we go very deeply into your psychology, into your feelings and everything. And we work on that and see where it's coming from, and shift your beliefs around that topic that you're afraid to tackle. And by that, you get a different mindset. Basically, you're working on mindset shifts to help people to change their approach to things. For example, to become successful, or to become better leaders, or to become whatever, to build their business, or whatever is holding them back. Right? So you're working on people's transformations rather than providing information to them.
Gotcha. Very good. What kind of what kind of little transformations do you see most from some of your clients?
Yeah, most of them are really belief changes and shifts in the perspective how you look at things, right? Because we form our beliefs usually when we're small kids, right? And this could be, for example, limiting beliefs around money. Because, we all grew up, and many people grow up. We're sitting at a dining table with our parents, and we heard the stories that our parents are talking about. And how they talk about money is usually what shapes our belief system, right? And if they have, like, let's say, a scarcity mindset, that they say, okay, it's very hard to get money, or money is something evil, or this common things that we hear. I mean, not everybody has this, but many people have it. So you get this limiting beliefs, and that's what's putting you actually in a 9 to 5, and you think you have to stay there. And also the education system is benefiting from this belief system that they want to have employees, right? Yeah, and change. I'm working with my clients there is to really shift that and to try to understand and to challenge that beliefs, right? Why is it like that? Why does it have to be like that? And from that to go to something else. So is it really like that? And why can it not be different? Usually, if you think about it and where it's coming from, and again, this is something that's not working in one session, right? Because if you had this belief for 20, 30, 40 years,
it's hard to
just say now,
hard to change
I think
that.
something different now, right? But by just adding new perspectives to your portfolio. So you have to chance to work on that and to shift it.
For you, Ingo, what's something that you struggle with personally? What's like a mental struggle for you or a hurdle for you?
A mental struggle for me. Yeah, I'm still very a lot focused on my goals, and that's something I want to do more. And I'm working a lot on that, especially in the last, let's say, 5 to 8 years, to become more present, right? Because in the past I was always chasing my goals, especially in my career and also my athletic career. Yeah, the problem is also once you reach a goal, I mean, that's not really you're happy, but then you need the next goal, right? And rather than that, I focus much more now on being more present and just enjoying the moment. But I still getting distracted very easily, and so that's something I'm working on personally.
I appreciate you sharing that because I've had a lot of my guests, a lot of them talk about being present, and I feel like that's something that's really important to a lot of them, and it's something that grounds a lot of people and helps a lot of people. I feel like I'm like you a little bit. I think I'm always kind of distracted looking at the next thing, and not just enjoying the moment and just being in the moment. How can someone be more present? What's just a simple technique, or what do you do to be present for yourself?
Yeah, I think there are two things you can do, right? One is like active techniques, like could be meditation or something. Or another thing I like to do is also like disconnect. I mean, just turn off your phone, because we talked about it before, right? Just like turn off your phone for a few hours. And of course, we all need our phones, and I understand I'm also on social media a lot. But yeah, I mean, for example, in the morning, I stopped turning on my phone before like 8 o'clock, right? I usually start with meditation, and then I go out with the dogs for a walk, and then I prepare breakfast to the kids. I wake up the kids, and only when they're gone, I start using social media and stuff like that. That's one thing. The other thing is just trying to do more things consciously, right? This could be like doing the dishes, or when you go out for a walk, just leave the phone at home and concentrate really on the walking. I think that's why I probably also like endurance sport, because endurance sport, if I go running or cycling, is also kind of meditation for me, right? Because I'm really disconnected. I can flow on running. You're focusing on your breathing, on environment, on the stones below your feet and everything. So this would be the two things. Meditation is something that really helps, breathing techniques, but also just I mean, you don't need to have the television running all day, right? So if you're eating, so focus on your partner or with whoever you eat, or if you're eating alone, just focus on the food, how the food tastes, right? So don't get distracted too much.
I love that, because I think we're distracted so easily, and so it is nice, and that's why I think I go for little jogs in the morning, and I love that time because it's just me and running and breathing, and you get done with it, and I feel great, and I miss it throughout the day. I'm like, oh, I missed how that felt. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Right. It doesn't always have to be like a half an hour or 1 hour. Sometimes it's just like this 2 minutes or 5 minutes that you like, okay, stop, take a deep breath. Okay, where am I? Center yourself again, and it's going to be enough to bring you back into a more centered position.
I like that. What would you say the role of adventure, going on adventures, doing things together as a family, traveling around, things like that? How does that play a role into self-development and things like that?
Yeah, I think adventures are cool. I love it. Adventures. I like to go out. I also did a lot of treks on my bicycle, and with the kids, we go hiking and swimming in the waterfalls and all the stuff. And I think it's important, because I mean, for me, otherwise life would be boring, right? So I like to be in the nature. Yeah, it can also help you to embrace the unknown, and that's also what you're doing. I mean, you can start with small adventures, right? You don't have to like sell everything, like I did. You don't have to sell everything and move to the other end of the world, but start with something small and grow it from there, right? So go a bicycle trip, or go to the sea and swim. Or start with something small, but do something that puts you out of your comfort zone, and you will see that the risk is not higher than actually in Germany we have a saying, right? It says statistically most people die at home, right? So but it's the riskiest staying at home, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Very good. All right. So after we talk about, being present, that sort of thing. And now I'm going to ask you the question, what does the future hold for Ingo? What do you think? What do you want to do? What's kind of the goal moving forward?
Well, as I told you before, I'm trying not to have too many goals anymore. I mean, I have my vision like that I want to help people, but I don't setting any goals now. So for now, we're staying here. We're actually building a house right now here. We bought some land here. We're building
Awesome.
We hope to move in there in the next 2 to 3 months. And we said we will stay now till the kids are grown up, because now my son is 14. Social ecosystem in school now. And yeah, so we will probably stay for a few years here. But yeah, I'm open for everything. I mean, it's as I said, that's also something you need to understand when you're making decisions, that don't see it as it's a decision that is, it's just a decision, right? It's not a life sentence, right? So if the decision was wrong, you can change it again. And that's what we're doing. I mean, if we don't like it here anymore, maybe we go somewhere else or we go back. For now, it's the best possibility. But I think many people are afraid to make decisions because they think, okay, if it doesn't work, I have to stick with that. It's the case. I mean, if it's not working, you adjust it or you change it again and you make a new decision.
Awesome. I love it. Any parting words before we wrap it up?
No, I think we said everything. I think the most important thing is try to connect again with yourself. Try to shut down a little bit all the noise, all the distortion around you. I like to think that the truth is always within yourself. You won't find it in any books or in social media. You will find your truth only inside yourself.
I love that. Thank you very much. Ingo, this has been awesome for me. Every time I do one of these episodes, one of these shows, I gain something. I learn something from people and I learn something from you. So Ingo, thank you so much for coming on Journey with Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you so much to my guest, Ingo Schulmeyer, for coming on the show. Check out Ingo's podcast called The Small Reset on YouTube at The Small Reset. Thank you, Ingo, for sharing some of your adventures and life lessons with all of us. Thanks to each of you for tuning into the show each and every week. It means the world to me. We have another great episode coming up next week. I had the chance to speak with Miss World Traveler, Carrie Damiano. Sorry, Carrie, if I butchered your last name. Carrie, as her title states, travels the world, and she was Miss Idaho back in the day as well. I had a great time with Carrie, and I know all of you will enjoy my conversation with her. Check it out next week. Just remember, it's not always about the destination as it is about the journey. Take care, everybody.